the world's largest retailing store, Walmart, and we are going to learn how to evaluate a company like Walmart. And so we can kind of using our investment theory we learned last time and to incorporate into this case study. And for today, I was supposed to talk about portfolio management. And because portfolio management is also in the theme of our this semester class. And we will talk about the portfolio management of the stock and the portfolio management of the bond. And portfolio management, what is the portfolio management? Portfolio management is if you have more than one asset, then we call it so basically if you have more than one asset, for example, you have more than one security, one stock, and or for example, you have more than one asset class. For example, you have bond and you have the real estate, you have the fixed income, then we call this a portfolio. That's more than one asset. And so the portfolio management have implication for individual, but also for the financial institution, especially a number of the fund portfolio managers. They are running the portfolio for their client, and they tend to follow by these formalities. And first of all, they have to set up the investment policy and investment goal and investment limitation and preference. Right? We learned from our previous behavioral finance, and as a portfolio manager, you have your investment goal, right? And because your goal is you want to state clearly your goal, and your goal will attract a client who favor to your goal. For example, your goal maybe you want to become a very active investor. You want to find the underestimated asset. You want to find an undervalued asset, or you want to searching for momentum growing asset, whatever. And, so that's more active management style. Or maybe your investment goal is more like a passive. You want to match with the index. You want to match with the ETF index, etc. Okay, so you have all kind of investment goal, and your investment goal is you want to have the steady long-term return instead of like a short-term, more volatile returns. Okay, and you also have some investment limitation and preference, right? For example, some investment companies say, okay, you are not allowed to withdraw your fund in a certain period of time. Because you invest money in the fund and you purchase their certificate. And in most cases, you are allowed to redeem the fund you invested in anytime you want, because there was always a secondary market. But sometimes you have to have limitations. And also the investment policy also mentioned about their preference. For example, this investment may be more focused on like infrastructure, and those investment may focus on like a defensive stock, or those they're more focused on dividend paying stock, etc. So investment policy will state all clearly all those things. Then the second will be development and the execution of investment strategies. Okay, this is the second step. That means you have to form your market expectation and based on the research internally or externally, and also based on the fund manager intuition. And then you have asset allocation strategies and the security choices. Okay. The third is when the market condition change, for example, the market or investor condition changes, then you may change it in market quotation and change it in investment conditions. Like for example, recently there's the war in Russia and the Ukraine. They will change it. A lot of investor attitude, and also, for example, inflation also changed the inflation expectation, and recently the Taiwan central bank also raised the interest rate up, also changed domestic investor their prediction or their market sentiment. All those things will affect the portfolio manager. They may have to periodically change their investment allocation or security choice. But to be honest, okay, when we talk about portfolio manager, we are more like to talk about long term. So even the condition of market change and their change will be like just certain portion of their portfolio. For example, maybe 10% or 20%. Because just my experience, normally when we make it as a portfolio manager, we may have like for example, we have like 30 stocks in our portfolio or 20 stocks in our portfolio. Probably, and the total our stock portfolio worth of maybe, for example, like $500 million US dollar, we image $500 million US dollar, and maybe we will change if the condition change, we may change like 20% or 30% because they will regard this 20% or 30% of this 500 million worth of asset as a trading position. That means if the condition change, they will change. And the remaining 70% or 80% of this 500 million asset will be like long term. Long term, that means normally not subject to those certain expectation change. Then toward the end of the portfolio, you can probably have to evaluate and adjust your investment portfolio. And periodically you have to make those adjustments. And for example, in my portfolio recently, I made 2 adjustments. And one is because the recent since the second half of last year, the market beginning worry about inflation, worry about interest rate high in the U.S. And then the second adjustment is due to the Ukrainian war. So probably we have to periodically evaluate and adjust our portfolio. So this is the whole concept of the portfolio management. And next time we are going to talk about those steps and precisely and more focus. And so first of all, we are going to talk about portfolio management for bond and for stock. Then we talk about portfolio management for bond. So this is for the beginning of this today's class. And I want to say sorry because now I have an important meeting right now. So today I have one in-class discussion for our students. So I would like you to spend like 2 hours in class and by your group. So you can stay here or you can stay in the room inside and nicely and relaxedly talk about these 2 in-class discussions. And I have two group of questions for you. But I think I would like to have like Sam later on can make some assignment. I'd like to have half a group discuss the first question, and the other group talk about the second group question. The first group of questions here on the side. Okay, we have the group 1, group 3, group 5. Raise your hand. Group 1, group 3, group 5. Okay. And I would like you to talk about those subjects we discussed earlier about behavioral finance, right? And the behavioral finance argue that some financial phenomena can possibly be understood using models in which some agents are not fully rational. The field has 2 building blocks, limit to arbitrage, which argue that it can be difficult for rational traders to undo the dislocation caused by a less rational trader. And the psychology, which category the kind of deviation from fully rationality we might expect to see. This is from these 2 professors in their article in 203. So basically what I want you to do for these two groups is I want you to identify some psychological influence or bias which can affect market. Okay. Remember in the previous class, and we have a lecture, and we also have a student present their idea about some psychological behavior, for example, like a framing effect or angering effect, etc. Right? Accounting nature, etc. So I want you to maybe identify like 3 or 4 or 5 psychological influence, and from the perspective of financial behavior, what psychological will fund manager or individual investor, and what cost will this effect cause. Okay, so just pick up 3 to 5 those psychological factors, and to evaluate about for example, like U.S. investor or Thai investor, regardless if you are fund manager or individual investor, and what do you think? You can discuss with your group. What do you think about those factors will affect their investment decision, and what are the costs will this effect cause? Okay, so the first question is kind of an exercise for you to exercise our previous lectures about the behavioral dynamics. And the second group is I want you to pick up a company. One is the MediaTek or Qualcomm. Qualcomm is a U.S. company, Gaotong, right? The MediaTek is Lianhuake, is a Taiwanese IC semiconductor company. You can pick just one and do the fundamental analysis using a bottom up or top down, right? Remember in the class we talked about the fund manager, they have the bottom up. Bottom up is mean from like a company analysis, industry analysis, then macro, right? And top down is like a macro, industry, and company analysis. Okay, so you can, as I mentioned earlier, just from my perspective, most of the fund manager they use in the bottom up, but you can use top down because some of them also use top down. So whatever you can choose one. So you can choose one of the top down or bottom up, or you can choose just one company and to do the fundamental analysis. I think this is a nice chance for you to practice. Okay. So you can relax and maybe take like a 10 minutes break, then you can start to analyze by group. And so we finish by 12. Okay, so this is our assignment today. And tomorrow, next week, we are going to come to normal. Okay? Okay, thank you.
So the question 1 should be group 1, 3, and 6. Okay. And you can either do the Chinese or English. Okay.
可以自由钥匙，就直接进去了。哦，没有啊，1分钟。
啥？为什么 Q 到我？
他是只能选联发科或高通哦。然后举例啊。
举例。
可是我们
讨论2个小时，但是我只是想说。
fundamental analysis 是要做什么？
我们之后再做一次老师不是有叫你讨论吗？
今天有个小的。